Today, we're going to use some simple blackboard math to completely demystify a little phenomenon known as whole coin bias. We're diving straight into the data to see exactly why a seemingly tiny fraction of Bitcoin might actually be a monumental financial milestone for you. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so there is this massive psychological hurdle in the digital asset space. A lot of everyday earners look at the price tag of a single Bitcoin, sitting well past that $100,000 mark in early 2026, and they just feel entirely priced out. It's a classic case of whole coin bias. People assume that if they can't afford a full unit, a small fraction like 0.01 is basically useless. But honestly, that assumption completely misses the underlying mass. In reality, there's this growing, almost silent movement of people aiming for exactly that fraction. Like creator Patrick Denari points out, there's a quiet club forming right now of ordinary people quietly stacking sats and hitting 1 million Satoshis. And just as a quick refresher, a Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, and 1 million of them makes exactly 0.01 Bitcoin. It's a highly attainable goal that is literally letting retail buyers front-run massive institutional adoption.
Our syllabus today breaks down the exact mathematical and philosophical framework behind this strategy. We've got the silent 0.01 club, the math of absolute scarcity, escaping the fiat trap, storing monetary energy, the volatility reality, and building generational wealth.
Section 1. The Silent 0.01 Club. Financial educators like Brian Harrington hit the nail on the head when they emphasize framing this around purchasing power. 0.01 Bitcoin is a perfectly digestible amount for a normal household budget. At roughly $1,180 in early 2026, you're looking at the cost of a modern smartphone. And let's be real, that phone is going to be obsolete in 3 years anyway. This is an accessible line item that ordinary people can just quietly compound month by month, rather than stressing over an impossibly out-of-reach luxury asset. Section 2. The Math of Absolute Scarcity. The absolutely crucial detail to understand here is this hard-coded number 21 million. The Bitcoin protocol enforces a strict, unchangeable supply cap. Unlike fiat currencies that central banks can just print endlessly, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, period. It creates provable, absolute digital scarcity. But here's the wild part. The reality of the supply is actually way tighter than 21 million. When we map out the actual circulating supply, blockchain analysis estimates that roughly 17 to 20% of all Bitcoin is permanently lost. That's about 3 to 4 million coins just gone forever. We're talking forgotten keys, damaged hard drives, or early adopters passing away without leaving backups, which, drastically shrinks the pie. And this brilliantly illustrates why 0.01 is such a big deal. Let's do some quick chalkboard math. If you take that accessible supply of 17 million coins and divide it evenly among the 8.3 billion people on Earth, well, your equal share entitlement is a microscopically tiny fraction of a coin. So, by holding just 0.01 Bitcoin, you are actually securing roughly 4 times your theoretical global per capita share. Statistically speaking, it's literally impossible for every millionaire in the world to even own a whole coin. Section 3. Escaping the Fiat Trap. We live our entire lives in a system of expanding fiat currency. The traditional system relies on an expanding M2 money supply, which is basically the total amount of money circulating in the economy. Pumping more and more money into that system inherently dilutes your purchasing power over time. It's like a slow, invisible leak in your wallet. Bitcoin acts as a mathematical counterweight to that. Because it's mathematically constrained to that 21 million cap, it's essentially deflationary. It preserves your slice of the pie while the fiat pie just keeps endlessly inflating. Section 4. Storing monetary energy. Technology CEO Michael Saylor has this fascinating conceptual framework where he suggests we think of money as monetary energy. Think back to physics class for a second. Power is just the capacity to do work over time. So money isn't just pieces of paper, it's a battery. It's the highest form of power because it stores the economic value of your literal time, your labor, and your life force. It allows you to project that energy across space and time to take care of your future self. And this is where Saylor's analogy gets incredibly powerful. He calls Bitcoin the encrypted vacuum sealing of monetary energy. If traditional fiat currency is a leaky battery that constantly bleeds your energy to inflation, Bitcoin is the absolute zero deep freeze. Because its supply can't be manipulated, it protects your stored energy from the natural decay of the traditional financial system. You put your energy in, and no government, thief, or inflation can bleed it out. Section 5. The Volatility Reality. Now, to keep things completely objective, we have to talk about the bumps in the road. Bitcoin has historically been subject to extreme price volatility, massive spikes, dramatic swings. While it acts as an incredible store of value over a decade-long time frame, in the short term, it can be a highly turbulent and honestly stressful asset to hold. Because of this wild volatility, you face what's called path dependence risk. Basically, the success of your investment heavily depends on the exact timing of when you might be forced to cash out. Historically, we've seen drawdowns of 70 to 80% during crypto bear markets. And on-chain data reveals a pretty harsh reality here. Retail holders frequently panic during these drops. They sell their fractions at a loss, right to the institutional whales who are quietly accumulating. If you need this money next month to pay your rent, volatility can and will destroy your capital. This absolutely requires a strict, multi-year time horizon. Section 6. Building generational wealth. So how does an everyday earner actually navigate all that volatility to capture the upside? Well, financial educators urge retail buyers to stop treating Bitcoin like some hot stock you're trying to day trade. Instead, they suggest a practical framework. Step 1. Treat it as a 100-year savings vault. Step 2. Dollar cost average. Set a fixed, comfortable budget in fiat, maybe what you'd spend on a nice dinner out, and just buy that amount monthly. Step 3. Quietly and steadily accumulate until you hit that 0.01 Bitcoin milestone. You secure your 1 million Satoshis without blowing up your monthly budget. And time is definitely of the essence here because of the network's built-in algorithm. Every 4 years, Bitcoin undergoes a halving. This literally cuts the new supply of coins issued to miners right in half. We went from 25 coins a block back in 2012 all the way down to 3.125 today. What this means for you is that with every halving cycle, your specific 0.01 fraction becomes increasingly harder for the global market to replicate. So let's step back from all the daily market noise for a second. If we view this not as some get-rich-quick scheme, but as an encrypted century-long vault for human ingenuity and energy, ask yourself, is joining the 1 million Satoshi Club right now the most asymmetric financial opportunity of our lifetime? It's absolutely something worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.